リーダーアダム様、ブロックデーモン CTO クリス・シャープ様、メタオアス共同創業者兼 CMO アメリー・ウー様、これより皆様に新進気鋭のプロジェクトが語る分散社会実現に向けた挑戦について開覧いただきます。それではよろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。はい、モデレーターをやっている、パイマスタジオの TEAMZ Sebastien と申します。パイマスタジオというのは、ゲーム特化したレア2ソリューションであって、これからちょっと一人ずつ、自己紹介させて、いただくようになっておりますので、はい、ぜひ。そうですね、一応パネルディスカッションは今回、英語でやるようになっておりますので、はい、よろしくお願いします。
Okay, so I'm Adam from Yuliverse. So basically, we are actually a real-life metaverse that combine treasure hunt and like a Pokemon Go and Tinder. So we can make friends and do treasure hunt together at the same time with Yuliverse. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Sharp. I'm the CTO at Blockdaemon. We help connect institutions to blockchains.
Hi,皆さん、こんにちは。I'm Chief Marketing Officer of Metaoasis. I'm taking Web3 marketing for builders since 2016. I helped with 4 Web3 projects with marketing, built from 0 to 1 step. And Metaoasis is my core project. It is the only one Web3 game published platform. As I experienced strategy until both game development and the operation, Metaoasis has a full stack of the Web3 technical solutions for gamers and game developers. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the introduction. Yeah, so we're all, new companies, relatively speaking, and we're also doing a lot of stuff in a new, highly, competitive field. So I'd love to hear what you folks are, doing in Japan specifically, because you guys obviously all came here to Japan. I'm based in Japan, so we are doing a lot of stuff in Paima in Japan specifically, but I'd love to hear what you folks are looking for in Japan and what your folks are doing in this region.
I think I'll go first. So, Yuliverse is currently we are pretty popular in Japan. We have about 70% of our base actually from Japan. So we actually partner up with quite some reputable IP in Japan. So the first one we did was with Guillemot, which is Hanazawa NFT. I believe Hanazawa is a really famous celebrity in Japan, right? So we partnered with the IP and then we brought her image into our game. And on July, we are going to partner again with a big IP in Japan. It's called Kumamon. So we are going to bring Kumamon into Yuliverse with a limited edition NFT. When you have the Kumamon NFT, you are going to explore a different gameplay with Yuliverse. So we are pretty much going to focus a lot in Japan alone for the next few months. Yeah. How about you guys?
Cool, I'll go next. Yeah, I mean, we look at ourselves as sort of the trusted partner for staking in Japan. Partnership-wise, we've got some amazing partners in Japan. See if I can think of some. We've got Crypto Garage, we've got Astar Networks, we've got BitGo, we've got FinTech, what else we got? Guillemot Coin and SBI VC Trade. And so just a whole large group of people that come together and are looking to get our help in staking and sort of what we would see as sort of the tip of the iceberg for what we want to do here in Japan. But it starts with having great local connections and I think we're off to a good start.
Yes, thank you. And we are honored to be here and with the backer from Miyazawa-san. He is like our backers, and we have Freelancer Japan development partners. And later, we have a cooperation with many of the art, the community and NFT group that is doing the co-marketing things together because I'm focusing on the marketing side. Yes, so we are keeping in touch with them and with promotion of Japanese market. And for like so many of our friends and backers here and promotion for us. So we are doing this weekend here, and during this week we will do a lot of the marketing promotion and get to the Miyazawa-san to get together. Yes.
Cool, that's awesome. And so obviously we're all working in a quickly advancing field, and so we're all trying to get these Web2 users to come onto our platforms. And I'd love to hear about, some of the challenges that you're facing in doing that. For example, for us at Paima Studios, we're a framework to allow people to build these, on-chain games and gamification. And one of the largest problems we have is, not everybody knows Solidity and Web3 yet, so we're trying to tackle this by, allowing them to build these on-chain games using Web2 skills, so they don't have to, learn that Web3 skill to build the API that they have in mind. But I'd love to hear about, some of the problems that you face in your business model and how you're able to overcome these.
Okay, I'll go first then. I think I will share from more, sort of more like marketing side, since I'm doing like the community and stuff. So, because I'm not really a tech, right? Yeah. So I think how we actually share the news, like things in Web3 to the Web2 user, like how we onboard them, like how do we simplify the process of them joining us is very significant. So I think most of the Web2 users when they join, like if they want to play any Web3 game and stuff, they will actually need wallet. And most of them have no idea what wallet is. Like they don't understand the importance of a seed phrase. So they will even ask us to actually record it down for them. So I think that, so how do we actually help them to solve this issue, like having this wallet issues, that instead of using wallet as a way for them to register, to join our game, we can actually allow them to use email. So they can actually just use their email address, and then if they don't have a wallet, we can even create a wallet for them, and then they can save the seed phrase on their own. So in Yuliverse, we will always focus on how we can simplify things for our audience, how we can make things like in Web3 that is very complex. We make it simple for them to join without any hassle. So we kind of like focusing on how we can bridge the gap. So one of the approach that we did is the email approach. I think is pretty good. That helps us to actually onboard a lot of Web2 users, including my family. My parents is playing the game, and they use the email to log in. So that's how we do it actually. Yeah. How about you?
Okay, I'll jump in here. So Blockdaemon, we look at trying to make things easy and secure. And so when I think about easy, if you're a developer, you might not know all of the idiosyncrasies of the different kinds of blockchain protocols, right? And so what you want is to have a blockchain agnostic API that you can initially get your feet wet with and use, right? You might graduate and then use some of the blockchain specific APIs, but you want it to scale to whatever volume your customers could possibly demand. And so we look at ourselves as servicing the largest institutions in the world, volume-wise for our API suite. Easy to use also means, our documentation is there, and we have open API specifications. Safe or secure is another way that I think we would look at ourselves, right? And whether that's, making sure that we've got, our ISO certification or financially audited accounts, or, just monitoring and making sure that our services are secure. We're looking at source code audits and looking at the, distributed denial of service attacks and making sure that the nodes that we provide to our customers are up and running and aren't being slashed, and that we have insurance, again, sort of with that theme of safety, providing insurance for proof of stake protocols, that if a node gets slashed, then the customer is still safe. So I would look at it in those two ways, generally speaking, from a Blockdaemon perspective.
Yes, I think the challenges, for example, we are the gaming published platform. So in the traditional game industry, it's a very mature industry. But Metaoasis is trying to, we have figured that the last year, like this year, the Blizzard and the East, and NetEast have a big issue about the shutdown of the service. So the gamers will lose their all of the the thoughts and their many experience and the gaming experience in the Blizzard the Blackhead. So like World of Warcraft and Sharp, and everybody's shocked. So, and games is really need a published platform. So we are building them together and give them the assets here. So is our opportunity here to get all the gamers together, that they can really own the assets, own a token, and they were not going anywhere. That is the way we figured that, and we really want to solve this problem through the Web2 into Web3. So gathering all the gamers together here in Metaoasis is so important. And NFT can also shares in the one platform is also very important. So because NFTs are not any images, but it's like you really can use and in our platform. So that is what we are trying to solve this problem and gather the owner to the gamers that they can have to free to play to earn and earn to own. Is that what we are trying to solve? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think both of you also, touched a lot on security. I think that's really relevant. If you look at a lot of the, Japanese government officials, a lot of the Japanese companies, as well as Japanese users, one of the big trends in Japan has been about security. How can we onboard new exchanges? How can we onboard new DeFi protocols while maintaining security and avoid a lot of the hacks that have happened, in the U.S. and a lot of the bad behavior that's happened in the U.S. And so it's something that's definitely on the top of everybody's mind. For Paima students, for us specifically, we're creating this framework to create, on-chain games, but, still one big concern from these companies is what happens if I, create a game that gets hacked? What happens to my brand reputation? And so it's something that, these companies care heavily about. That's why for us, for our system, we've created a way to have the user assets separated from the game data. So if the game gets hacked, user assets are not at risk. So that's how we've been tackling this issue. But both of you talked a lot about, the safety of your protocol and there's Japanese regulators in the room or Japanese government officials in the room where you companies looking into potentially using your solutions to deploy their games, to deploy their IP or deploy their nodes. How can you give assurance of the protocols you're building to these shareholders and stakeholders?
Well, I think the approach that we did to ensure that we are not hacked is that I think one of the most common things that happens 2 years ago was the project actually getting hacked, they lost millions of funds because the wallet is not secure and stuff. So what we did here was that we create all the company wallet, where we collect all the fundraise money, the NFT sales money. We uses the MPC wallet that we actually develop on our own. So it's almost impossible to hack it because even ourselves do not have the full access to the private key. It requires a form call file together, then only we can actually upload those transactions. So this is a push that we actually took to protect our fund in terms of how can we give the confidence to our players and users that we can actually operate smoothly. And how we actually help those audience to actually, the assurance how we can actually help them is that I think we can't really help users to protect their wallet because it's belong to them. But what we can do is always remind them not to believe not to click anything. As long as you click one wrong link, everything is gone. So we always ask them to check whether the link is verified. We have a verified website where they can just post it and check whether the link is official or not, including other project websites. So we only can provide tools like this to help them to prevent, but in terms of not getting hacked, I think it's users, they have to protect their seed. What do you guys think?
So I think it starts with a sort of philosophical view, which is, number one, we are going to be 100% compliant with local and international regulations, period. And how do we do that? We do that through a series of processes and technology. You mentioned MPC. That's more of a technology side of things. On the process side of things, we are ISO certified. We have financially audited accounts. We have very strong corporate governance. And so we're very friendly in working with large entities. If you're talking about entities in the US like JP Morgan Chase, other large banks, Bank of New York Mellon, NASDAQ, these are our customers. And they have a very high bar. They are regulated themselves. And so we're very used to sort of swimming in this arena. That's the process side of things. On the technology side of things, we have a very high bar. The multi-party computation side of things for our institutional wallet is the starting stakes. And it's not just the MVC, but the policy engine too must be something that is entirely in control of our end users, something that as a company, we have no technical ability to influence the security story. And so my perspective is you look at things and you build things from a security first perspective from the ground up. You don't try to layer these things in later. That's where you can get into trouble.
Okay, so I'm not the technical person, I'm the marketing person, so I will give my perspective from the marketing way. So thinking about the blockchain, I think the first problem people have will be the trauma problem, that is the decentralization and also scalability. So my way to thinking about this way is like a little bit different. So I'm not sure that the decentralization is a Bible to me, but I think the decentralization is a way out of the Web3. So my thoughts for gaming platforms, so we are slowed down to pursue the decentralized way. That is my way to, to focus on the core stack. Maybe we have the core DAO to discuss the votes together. That is to slow down the decentralized way. And later to pursue like the vote from the core DAO members to have the consensus for nodes. That's in that way of my marketing perspective. I think we can really to slow down decentralized, so to be like the core centralized to pursue the decentralized security part, to balance the trauma problem in the blockchain, like the scalability and the the scalability, security, and decentralized.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a really interesting point, which is that in this area of Web3, there's so many things you could do, so many problems to solve, so many areas of expertise that require studies in cryptography as well. And it's a whole area of research that's still very much ongoing. And so I'd love to hear more about your thesis about why you decided to choose specific areas of focus, and what is your thesis driving why your company decided to focus on these specific things. So for example, at Paima Studios, our two main theses are one, that layer 2s are going to be extremely important to going into the future, which is why we allow every company, every app to create its own layer 2, and we think this is really the future of enabling on-chain games to get really the performance, the flexibility, and the safety required for a lot of these game companies to onboard into a fund. And our other thesis was on the growth of NFTs, going from just static NFTs to becoming stateful NFTs that can evolve over time as the user plays the game, and have their NFT reflect their in-game actions. And so those are the two main things we've been pursuing, we've been hyper-focusing on as a company. But I'd love to hear what areas you've decided to focus on and why you think this is where the core value of your company lies.
Okay, I think we didn't start this project because we feel like what will actually become the future, but more like we actually see the needs of something, which is we are actually as mentioned, we are actually making like a metaverse, but it's giving you another chance to live in a life that you want, and you can make friends through it. So how we actually got inspired actually was the founders, among us, we are all nerds, and we don't know how to make friends, right? So we have difficult to talk with strangers, and when one day we just came together and we were talking, and we were like, hey, what if one day we can use game as a bridge for people to connect with each other? We can use game to do icebreaking. The reason here today we are gathered here today is because of the topics Web3, right? So this is the scenario for us to connect. So so if we actually use game to help each other to connect with each other, it will be more easy. People can just make friends without any hassle. I feel everyone would like to make friends, it's just that they don't know how. So this is how Yuliverse actually got inspired. So why we actually decided to go into Web3 is that we feel like this is more community-driven place. So that's the reason why we actually decided to just come up with this idea, use game as a scenario to help reaching people and allowing people to connect with each other by using game. So this is the focus of Yuliverse ever since we started. The only goal we are pursuing is to help each other to connect with each other, that's all. So I think it has been about a year since we started. So right now our community has about 100,000 members, and I believe our community is one of the strongest community that was built in Japan. So it kind of just matched with our primary focus. And one of our users, he shared his testimony with us. He was able to actually hang out with 8 different strangers because of our game. So we kind of just focusing on this goal, like bridging gap. That's all. Yeah. How about you guys?
I love that answer. Having a North Star, helping people connect, and helping define your product strategy based on that North Star. I think that's wonderful. I love hearing that. For us at Blockdaemon, I think there's sort of 2 aspects to the way we think about building great products. The first aspect is, we have a team of PhDs and researchers and people that are, in the Discord, in the community, working and bootstrapping these blockchain protocols. We support over 60 of them, running over, I think, 90,000 nodes worldwide. And so for us, we look internally. We look internally to say, we feel like we have a great deal of expertise. What are the things that for us as users, for people like us that we want to build off of, what would we be doing with these things? And then the second aspect, of course, is we want to be in listening mode. We want to, as we're interacting in different markets and we're interacting with different customers, we want to be able to listen to the feedback and then be holistic about it. Now, as platform builders, we look to not sort of solve one problem for one person and then move along, but really trying to look at how to generalize some of these things so that over time, the things that we do invest in, the things that we're building, give us momentum and give us new capabilities, but they're actually servicing a combination of things we want to do for ourselves because we think we have a pretty good insight into what's happening and what can happen, and then also things that we're hearing as we're listening to our various customers in different markets and different market segments.
Yes, I totally agree with Grace, and I think users is the first we have driving our features, I think, and second is the market. I think the one is the hottest one. How about this year is a layer 2 year, and last year is an NFT year. So all of this trend of the marketing science lead us to do our features and driving us to go to the market and order the products. So I think this year is a layer 2 year, so we will incubate 2 kinds of the games later and join totally on the layer 2 chain. So this year totally the DeFi and layer 2, and later maybe we will have like listen to the core DAO members' thoughts that will lead the future. And see what is going on to the market is very important, and what is the strategy of our products and the product department is also important from the market side. The trends is also important. I think user marketing. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Yeah, and since there's a few hundred people in the audience and potentially even more people listening online afterwards, I'd love to hear more about what kind of partners you're looking for. Like when you come to this event, who are you looking for, and who are you trying to connect with? I mean, for us at Paima Studios, obviously we're looking for people who want to build games onto games using our solution, or who want to build gamification, like point systems, loyalty systems, traceability because of game-like applications. We're also looking for B2B partners. So we're just building the framework, and we're looking for partners who can provide solutions to all these dozens of companies, building their games and applications, like I mentioned. That's primarily what we're looking for. I'd love to hear, more about what you folks are looking for, and who in the audience would you like to kind of talk to after this panel's over?
Well, for us, just to share a little bit insights about what is happening with Yuliverse right now. So last month, we actually outbeat all the BSC project and have the most MAU in terms of compare all the GameFi and SocialFi last month. So if you are looking to grow your project, we can actually help you by integrating your project into Yuliverse by featuring your brain and awareness in our gameplay. So if you have a big IP and you don't know how to step into Web3, you can come to us, we can help you to do it 100% for free. That's why we can actually partner with big IP in Japan. So if you guys are looking to grow your project with a big IP, feel free to contact Yuliverse.
So from a Blockdaemon perspective, I think first and foremost, we're looking for partners that are committed to Japan and to Asia in general. And because we provide nodes, staking, and an institutional wallet, really any companies that are interested in going along this journey with us are companies that we want to talk to. We're less specialized and more about handing general purpose tools to companies that want to be successful in Web3.
During this week in Tokyo, I figured that the Japanese market is very busy. Yes, last month we are in Hong Kong, but it's very noisy. But I think Japanese market and Japanese partner, Japanese community very street cultures. But once they, to know this project and knowing you, and it will become very like keep the diamond hand and also believers in Japanese community. It's very busy and chill in Japan. So our project is finding the game studios and the game producer. So game producers in Web2, that is what we are trying to focus. Because the Web2, they are the medium size and small size, they're very, to publish very highly by the monopoly of the whole industry of the gaming studio. So we are trying to build them and let them to focus on their good ideas. So gaming guilds, influencers, also partner, and Web2 game producers we are trying to find. And we are totally support them and build one step and incubation, all of part to Web2 into Web3. That's what we are trying to build in Japan.
All right, thanks everyone for coming to this panel and thanks for listening. If anybody else has any last closing remarks you want to give, go for it. All right, that's it then.
それでは皆様ありがとうございました。では今一度大きな拍手をお願いいたします。それでは皆様ご講談ください。ただいまのディスカッションは新進気鋭のプロジェクトが語る分散